All right. Broadcasting live from the Minions headquarters here in Orlando, Florida. Got to do the lives even on vacation. But we are here at Universal, checking it out and having some good time, having a good time with the family. But you guys get the Minion room. That's the suite that we're hanging out in. So if you ever go to Universal and your kiddo likes Minions, this is what it looks like. And no, it's not one of those, backgrounds that's AI generated or anything. This is actually the background that we've got going on. So hopefully you guys enjoy the change in scenery. Also, fun thing that's going on, I did not bring my laptop charger with me. So we are down to 25% on the laptop, and I'm expecting the live to be cut a little short tonight. So I apologize for the technical difficulties. I have ordered a charger, and it is on the way, and it will be here by the time we go live on Wednesday. But tonight is probably going to be a little shorter than we normally run it. But, as always, I appreciate you taking time out of your Monday to come hang out with me and ask great questions. Probably a good time for my disclaimer before we get into all the fun macro stuff that's going on. Everything here is for entertainment and educational purposes. Nothing here is financial advice. It's only for entertainment and education. Like I said before, you should always speak with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. And any opinions I share here are my opinions. They are not the opinions of Digital Ascension Group or any of its subsidiaries. So let's get into where things are at, and then we will jump into the questions. I think I have a few super chats from last week over there in my email that I will pull up, and maybe some Mike had sent me on Discord as well. So a couple things. We've got Nigeria and Russia both rolling out their crypto legislation tomorrow, 7/21. It's actually already daytime there in Russia, so they should be rolling that through their parliament. I would expect that they will pass their crypto legislation. We've got Nigeria in Africa also rolling out their crypto legislation. Last week, we had Japan finalize that through their legal system. The U.S. still, maybe not, probably not going to get it across the line here. We'll see if that's the case. Apparently, I just saw from Eleanor Terrett that they did pass a portion of, they've come to a bipartisan agreement on what the governance around the Clarity Act is going to look like, and they've put that over to the Senate. So just so you guys know that the chain of events that has to happen here in the next 3 weeks before they go to recess. Congress will be taking their August recess, and then once they get back, they will be focused on midterms. So it's highly unlikely that if they do not get everything I'm about to talk about done in the next 3 weeks, we will not see the Clarity Act passed here in 2026. So the Senate they've proposed the stuff. They've got to agree on all of it. They have to pass a filibuster. They then have to vote on it and approve it. It has to go back to the House because it was originally passed through the House and then didn't make it through the Senate. So both those things have to happen in the Senate. It has to go back to the House. The House has to pass it, and then it has to go to Trump's desk in order to be signed. That is a lot of things that have to happen for this Clarity Act to happen in the next 3 weeks. I'm not holding my breath on it. I know, everybody wants it passed. I want it passed just as bad as you guys do. I was literally on Capitol Hill a year ago last week when the Genius Act got passed, advocating for both that and the Clarity Act with congressmen and congresswomen. I want it to pass. I want DeFi regulation. I want the whole industry to prosper. And that's how bad I want it to happen. And I'm still 98% sure I'm not feeling it. I want to be wrong. I want so badly to be wrong, and I want to see the Clarity Act passed. I just, with the headwinds that it currently has and the time frame that has to have things completed in, unless there is a significant catalyst that requires the Clarity Act passed in the next 3 weeks, which is possible. It could happen, but I'm not overly optimistic for that. My battery is going quickly here, so it's probably going to be closer to like 30 minutes tonight that we're going to get out of the live here. I'll run through the macro real quick, and then we'll get into a few of the questions. And like I said, my laptop's going to shut down, and then, I'll probably wrap it up over here on TikTok also. I apologize for the technical difficulties and, being unprepared. I did not grab my charger out from underneath my desk when I left on Friday last week, and here we are with 20% left on the laptop for the live. So I'll be ready Wednesday, though. I did order the charger. It'll be Wednesday. It'll be here for Wednesday. And I'm traveling to Miami a couple times in the next few weeks. And then we have our mastermind event up in Georgia next week. So excited to see everybody there. If you do want to be a part of that, if you want to check those types of events out, all you got to do is go over to beyondbroke.com, use the code beyondbroke, all capitalized, number 1, and then MO, like Mary Oscar gets you the first month for $2 month to month, no contract. Over 17,000 people continue to subscribe there in the community because of the value we provide. And we will be locking it down on the other side of price appreciation, which we'll talk about in just a second here. So we have rumors. I don't know if they are confirmed yet. They've been confirmed by a few media sources, including, I believe, the Wall Street Journal, that they are trying to close down the other strait on the other side of the peninsula there in the Middle East, and the shipping lanes through the Red Sea. This is big. This is another 5 million barrels of oil per day that will not be coming onto the market. The Houthis are who's shutting this down. That leaves the U.S. and the rest of the world in a position where we have the least amount of oil reserves we have had since 1983. Long time ago, way before a lot of the infrastructure that we currently have today that requires oil to run. I'm sure that we use 5 or 10 times the amount of oil on a daily basis today as we did in 1983. I'm guessing on that, so don't quote me on that one. That's my best guess. So you can imagine, at some point we're probably going to have to stop supplying this to the rest of the world, which I think is the trump card. We haven't seen oil jump as much as I thought we would off this news. Still hanging out around 13,500 yen per barrel. Oil did gap up over the weekend here to $84, $85 a barrel. That's on the crude side. Brent, I believe, is higher than that. My thesis for when Japan's really going to be in trouble here, and when we are going to see them their turn back moment, is going to be, in my opinion, when Trump decides that we are going to stop exports to the rest of the world for oil. And if we were to do that, they are now dependent on us shipping them oil over there in Japan. Their cost of energy would skyrocket immediately just off that news. And they would be forced to raise interest rates in order to be able to combat the inflation in their economy, which would set off the whole cascade for the reverse carry trade and everything else we've been talking about for over 2 years now, which leads to a much, much higher price for XRP, in my opinion. Again, take it with a grain of salt, listen to a bunch of other people. I am one person out here on the internet. Even though I have a strong conviction, that doesn't mean that you should base your decisions off of anything I say. So with all that said, interesting timing for crypto regulation being passed in the rest of the world, and for us to be at the breaking point where oil is likely going to be the catalyst that pushes Japan to have to raise interest rates. Can they kick the can to the 31st of this month? If Trump were to come out and say that he is going to stop exporting oil to the rest of the world. We are now the net largest exporter of oil globally, with everybody else in the positions that they're in. I don't think so. I think that there's an immediate effect on oil prices priced in other currencies. The UK also is facing significant implications from the shutdown across the Red Sea and this other strait. They were kind of limping it along, and now they no longer have, if this is true, if this is shut down, they also now no longer have that oil coming in. So energy prices there in the UK, the broader EU, really the rest of the world outside of the US is going to be dramatically affected by this. And we, again, I think Trump's going to just say, hey, look, sorry, we got to protect the homeland here. We're going to cut off exports. And I think that's going to be the Trump card that moves things along. So with that, that's my, state of address for where things are on the macro. We'll go ahead and jump into the questions here. Again, appreciate you taking time out of your Monday to come hang out with me. I'm probably going to last, like I said, we currently have 16% on the battery. I started with 25 here 10 minutes ago. So I'm betting we're going to make it about 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes into the live tonight before it just cuts off on me. So if that's what happens, just know that that's what happened. TikTok, you'll be fine. YouTube, X, and Facebook, not going to work out so great. All right, we'll go ahead and jump into the questions here. We got Danny. And he said, Jake, watch The Big Short tonight. You're the new Michael Burry. Thanks to you, I'm holding 30K XRP. You're making my dream life possible. Beyond Broke Mastermind. Look, man, again, you should not base all your investment decisions on me. Sounds like you've done a lot of your own research. I do often feel like Michael Burry. I feel like he did, I'm sure, during the 2.5 year period where he was literally betting that the housing market would collapse, and it didn't. As most, you've heard this quote before, but markets can remain irrational much longer than you can remain solvent. Believe me, I know everybody wants this to happen yesterday. I do too. I think the timing on this is going to be perfect. I think it has to be perfect in order for them to get this where they need it to be and get us out of the situation that we find ourselves in. So I'm okay with that. It's definitely given people a lot more time to accumulate positions in certain things than it would have otherwise. But I appreciate you being part of the mastermind, and thank you very much for the kind words. This person says, if we moon from in July, which I think is possible, isn't BlackRock ETF late? Wouldn't they want to buy cheap, sanction tether, if Lutnick in power? How? So Lutnick's not really in power. He is on Trump's cabinet, and he's been around and he's kind of like a Jed McCaleb. Lutnick, he sneaks, I don't want to say he sneaks, that's probably a derogatory term. He's very intelligent and positions himself exceptionally well for different outcomes. I know the guy that he went out drinking with, that they closed a deal at Cantor with the gentleman that I know. They went out drinking, and he didn't show up to the office the day that 9/11 happened. Wild. So just different things like that, where you're like, this guy was at the right place at the right time, or not at the right place at the right time to continue to be here and continue to do well. And then he bet that the tariffs would get overturned. And sure enough, he bought the options on it, and now he's going to make a big payday on that deal. Evernorth and BlackRock both feel like things could move here quickly if they needed to. And as far as the sanctions for Tether go, I don't know how that's going to happen during the 2-year moratorium that they still have, unless they are helping other countries that are sanction evade sanctions. And then it's quite possible that the U.S. Might invoke that. I do have a couple super chats here that my wife has reminded me about, so I'm going to grab these. This one says, it's from Jane. She says, hi, Mrs. T Lady, or to whom it may concern. I paid for a super chat. It was, hey, Jakey, if I have been paying for my XRP on my personal account, because crypto.com doesn't allow business accounts, and took your advice to get an LLC, how can I withdraw my XRP after price appreciation without my bank freezing my account? Thanks for everything. What most people do, and you could set up an exchange account with a business account with another exchange. Kraken, Uphold, we have good people over there at both of those. If you would like to set up a business account with either one of them and then transfer your XRP there, if you want to hold it on an exchange, what I would likely recommend, and if I could make a recommendation, I'm not a financial advisor, the way that